Okay, so I've been getting this a lot more lately, but people have told me that OSX is good UX, and after using OSX now for 2.5 years, I can tell you it's probably actually much longer than that. Actually, only 4 years now, right? I can tell you right now, it's not good UX. Okay, so for starters, the spaces are so trash. It's the worst implementation of a virtual desktop I've ever seen. So okay. I use my keyboard to navigate, right? Because I have a keyboard and everyone has keyboards. I don't have a touchpad. So I create shortcuts. Very normal. I can use that on Windows. I can use that on Linux. I can use that on Mac. Kind of, but pretty much not. When I create a shortcut. I press the green button. The green button will create a new space which is unnumbered, and it doesn't work with the shortcut. So, aka, buy a goddamn trackpad because fuck you and your keyboard shortcuts. This is an actual real snapshot of my Mac, and basically when you make a new workspace, it saves that wallpaper, right? But then you can't change it again, so you have to actually delete that workspace and make a new workspace before you can actually change the wallpaper. So it basically becomes this timeline of times that I've needed a multiple desktop, so I created a new one, and then it spaces out like this into this horrible mess of like all these different wallpapers, and I have no idea how to change them all. After doing this video, I actually went and deleted them all, just basically to start again, because it was so confusing, and I couldn't deal with it. And you can see here, right, I have the Robo T3, which I have no idea what that wallpaper is, because there is no wallpaper, because it's a randomly generated space that it just happens when you press that green button. My second monitor, the one that is on my left, right? So my first monitor on my right is desktop 1, and then the monitor on my left is desktop 6, but it's not actually desktop 6. It's whatever the dynamically numbered desktop is, which is the last space which doesn't exist on my first screen. So if I make new spaces, this number changes. It doesn't stay the same. It could be 6, it could be 3, it could be 7, it could be 12, it could be anything. It's so ridiculous. And the only way that it possibly makes sense is if you have a trackpad. You cannot use spaces unless you have a trackpad. It's just broken. It's just broken. Window controls. Everyone loves the iconic 3 colors, right? It's cute. But no way in hell that anyone has a good argument that the red circle is a better indicator that it closes the window than an X. That's just crazy. So you can't say that the window controls are better. The window controls are obviously worse. Obviously. Because they don't have the icons. They only have the icons once you go to click it, but you only go to click it when you already know what that icon is for. So it's just dumb. It's just dumb. So Windows and every other operating system which doesn't have these traffic lights, clearly is better Windows controls. So that's not good UX. It's cute, sure. It's beautiful, sure. But is it good UX? No, it's not. Conformity, right? So this is a real life situation where Apple has forced people into making their icons a specific shape, and what everyone has done is put a white square around it. So now I'm instead of being able to check the app by the shape, I can't check it by the shape anymore because all of them have white. All of the icons much smaller because they have to be centered inside the white thing or else they look ugly. And it just makes it so much more confusing. Chrome and Slack, if they were different shapes, it would be so much easier to be able to tell the difference between those two. But because they're both now squares and they both have white around them, it means that the Slack icon basically becomes the same as the Chrome icon, and you just click the wrong thing all the time. I hate it. It's terrible. And then because of the restrictions inside Mac OS, you can't change the icons. They're constantly reverting. Windowless apps. Wow. I mean, just wow. QuickTime obviously is the worst of this, but you basically click QuickTime. QuickTime's open. QuickTime's not open. QuickTime's open. QuickTime's not open. And because the information is on the top bar, nothing shows. It doesn't have a window at all. So you can say, oh yeah, I need to do something in QuickTime. Click it. And you know, maybe you go do something while you wait for it to open. But it's already open. It's already there. It's already at the top bar. So every time you click it, you're just expecting something to happen. And then nothing ever happens. Ever. It's so frustrating. Outsiders. So obviously Mac has a app store, and in that app store you can download apps. But when you go on the internet, where majority of applications live, and you download a 27-year-old application or a 20-year-old application, Apple has the tenacity, the absolute tenacity, to say, oh, I don't know if this one's safe because it doesn't come specifically from my app store, which you have to pay to go into. So apps that are actually older than the Mac App Store are being verified by the Mac App Store. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And terrible UX. It's terrible user experience. Abstractions. I've seen this a lot of places. Apple will basically take a concept which wasn't complicated in the first place and then put a new abstraction on top of it to make it quote unquote easier for other people. So you get the Photos app. And I didn't know this, and this was actually someone showed me this because they didn't understand. They were so confused. I just basically ignore the photo app, but they were using this, and this is how they looked at photos on their computer. This is the only way they knew, because this is the way that they get forced into through the workflows that are inside Mac OS. So your images get imported into the photo app, and then I'll roll the clip. Okay, so we've got photos here, and then we've got files here. So we've got this. If I drag this here, it doesn't work. Is it a file? Who knows? I have no idea what it is. If I drag this one, oh look, this one's gonna work. Why? Literally why? This one's a PNG, and this one's a PNG. If I drag this here, it works. If I drag this here, it works. If I drag any of these, it works. If I drag this one, nope, get fucked. If I drag this one, nope, get fucked. If I drag this one, yep, it works. It's so nonsensical. There was an abstraction of files, and that worked, and everyone knew how that worked. And then Mac comes along, and they get this godforsaken photo app, and then it imports your stuff, and it breaks that abstraction until it doesn't make any sense anymore. And you don't even know where these files are. Like, if you didn't know how to use a computer, and you tried to find these files, you're basically lost. Like, it doesn't tell you the file path. It doesn't even give you you can't even expand this. You can't even see the full name, right? Like, you would have no idea how to access these files, or how you would go at like uploading this information online or into any other system which used the file abstraction, which is the most common computer abstraction ever. So this app is literally leading people down a path where they don't understand computers, when it would have been so much easier if they just learned how to use files instead of this trash. So I hear these a lot. It just works. Except I just showed that it doesn't just work. I mean, a lot of the times it doesn't work. It doesn't super break, but I mean, I've never been on Windows where it just super breaks. For me, Windows and Mac and, well, I mean, I'd say Linux a little bit less because I do a lot of fiddling on Linux, but if I put it into Windows, Ubuntu, or Mac, I would think that they all just equally work, especially because Mac dumbs down all the tiny things you want to do. So if you're trying to do these like super basic things, you can definitely do them on any other platform, and it doesn't just work any more than anything else. And the other platforms have more customization, so it's way easier to do things which is just a little bit more complicated. And then I get hit with this thing, oh, but you should have done it the Mac way. What is the Mac way? It's a computer. It's my computer. I'm the one which is actually controlling it. I should be able to use this tool in the way that I want to use the tool. Crazy. Virtual disks. Oh my god. So these are virtual hard drives. A concept that is presented by Mac as easy to understand. Right? This is how people install applications. You get something like this. If you're looking at invisible files, you get this terrible experience. And you can't even like read the background. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Beautiful. And so you have all of these hard drives still on your desktop after you've installed the program, and they never unmount. And the concept that like Mac is for people which don't understand computers, like this has been there. This has been here for many years. This is not a new thing. So you have to simultaneously know what a virtual hard drive is and the ability to mount and unmount it from different mount points on your computer. But then also just drag and drop to install an application. It's mind-boggling, like those two concepts together. How did this happen? And yeah, that was my little rant on Mac OS. Basically, I'm just sick of people telling me it's good UX, it's the best UX, whatever. It's just not. I use all three of them. I've used all three of them, and Mac has a lot of issues, different issues, but still horrible issues. And this was just a pinch of them. So there you go.